Hi there. It has been a while we haven't recorded a new series about how to manage your money. Um, the main reason is we covered most of the main functions in Fina. You can just look up the previous episodes if you want to learn specific topic. But today I want to record one video just simply talking about one topic, which is high level overview. Like if you are looking for a new finance tracking tool, and if you are evaluating multiple applications to decide which one to choose, I would like you understand Fina a little bit more. I mean, since you're already here, understand Fina a little bit more, make a better choice. I'm not saying Fina is the best among everything, but understand like what Fina is different and what kind of potentials you can mine from it, gain from it. I think it helps you make better decision. So I just published a blog post a couple of days ago. Actually, it's just yesterday, I think. Uh, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, sorry. Basically, what we are discussing here is understand the main items, functions, architecture-wise, how things are designed, the mindset, the principle we followed in this system. And if you understand that, then you can understand, how much potentials you want to get from this application. And from there, you need to match your own needs. Is this something I really need? I mean, that will help you to decide. So this blog post actually we are trying to compare with normal budget apps. There's a lot of budget apps, but today I think the most popular one probably is Monarch Money. So that's why we use this name. Doesn't mean we are want to directly compare with Monarch Money. We just using Monarch Money as the representative app to compare with Fina. So let's start. In this article, we are discussing the main question is, are you going to choose an app that adapts to you? Or you want to choose an app you're trying to adapt to it? This is all about flexibility and about extendability, basically how much I can do more for myself using this platform. So in this discussion, let's first by the way, we have total 7 points we're trying to mention. But the first one, let's just go through them one by one. The first one is a finance system you build. So we are providing a lot of things as default. For example, like category setup, like the reports in the pages, and other settings. We're providing them as default, but they are 100% flexible. You can customizable. You can just like change in your own way. So here we give you some examples. For example, like say they are you can create unlimited pages and dashboards to tailor to your own goals. You can mix up with text, charts, tables, formulas, and custom metrics, blending everything together to really craft your own personalized report. You can define your own mathematical logic. For example, you define some formula or define some threshold to monitor, right? These are all about creation, like about build. You build your own. A lot of people will be overwhelmed at the beginning, say, oh, spreadsheets is already complicated, and we need to learn them. I mean, why do I want to learn another system I want to build by myself? I just want something grab and use. I mean, if that is all you need, I agree that I think indeed Fina probably it's not something you like set up everything just for you to directly using it. But if you want, if you ever ask questions, for example, in Monarch Money, you say, oh, how can I do this? How can I do that? Whenever I saw those kind of questions pop up in the community, I kind of thinking, Yeah, you need, at some day you will need some flexibility. You need some personalizations, for your own finance tracking, finance management, tool. So this is the first thing, is like mindset is build with this, build your own, like with this, you are adapting to a pre-built system. The second thing I think is for many people who own multiple sides of the finance. For example, you have your family, you have your individual spend expense. You sometimes manage finances for your parents. Sometimes you set up like a finance planning for your children, and you have side business, and you do some freelancer work. All these type of things, it's not good to blend in together, in one profile. So that's why we have like a multiple profile concept. One profile in Fina is basically one container to represent one side of your finance lives. So, like the items I just mentioned, take business and personal as one example. You may use one profile to track in all your personal life finance, but you're using business profile to track in your business finance. And in these two different profiles, you can completely set up different categories, rules, reports, because they tend to be different. Business finance and personal finance tends to be different. So we also give you a lot of other like ideas and examples. I mean, what kind of use cases and scenarios you may want to multiple profile to support you, multiple sides of your life. And for this side, I don't see any other budgeting app, including Monarch Money, that have these kind of functions. Number 3, AI-driven transaction categorizations and insights. Every time today when we're talking about AI, we're always thinking about chatting. Of course, chatting is one user experience, but literally AI, it's machine learning. It's basically just like how to make things done more efficiently, more productive, and more intelligent, right? So when we're talking about like AI, we are thinking about how we can make things easier for user. Like when the users connect the data, pour in data, all those transactions categorized, almost ready. Like you don't need to do much more work to correct them. That's something we're trying to apply AI. So we apply AI in the 2 dimensions. One dimension is a global level, which is we are trying to train some machine learning model internally in-house, by the way. We don't use any, LLM to do this work. With training those kind of things, we are trying to see, some transaction when they have some features, characteristics such as name, merchant, or amount, those type of numbers that tends to belongs to some specific category. When we have a lot of this kind of cracked data, we actually can train a small model running inside the system to help us to categorize things better. As this model iterate and improve, we trying to make the initial transactions categorized correctly. The second dimension of the AI categorization is learning individual behavior. This one is within your workspace. So when you do some, categorizations, you make some changes, it becomes a history of yourself, right? It doesn't apply to others, but it applies to you. It's basically saying, oh, before when I have, doing something at some time, I categorize as hobby. And this kind of signal will help the workspace level AI to understand, oh, next time when we see similar transactions, we will do the same thing, so you don't need to do it again. This is what we're talking about, AI driven transaction categorizations and the insights. Next is formula metrics. Like spreadsheets, you can easily to using the functions features to customize or define your own logic to get the number you want. This is the same in Fina, and it's even easier because it's just like give you dedicated like forum, like dedicated like form. You can basically just like write in your metrics, what kind of metrics you want to use, and what kind of expression or formula you want to use to connect them together. And this is all be consistently in our block system, which means single metric can be shown in any type of chart, number, gauge, pie, bar, table, grid, whatever, and formula adapts to that as well. So that's why, as you can see, we actually got built a very, very consistent, reliable system infrastructure to support all these kind of changes, right? So formula is very, very important, for Fina, and is also very, very favorite theme for myself. I ever tried using formula to build a lot of things. For example, like future projection of you accounts, future projection of your investment return based on some assumptions. Those type of things are very, very useful when we forecast something using some model, right? The model is basically some formula you come up with, and we can use existing data points to connect them. That's how formula is going to be used, and you can easily to grab them and put them together. As long as you know how to write a math expression, that should be simple to do. Another thing is, formula we are using is basically in dynamic budgeting, right? For example, you're trying to answer questions. I want to budget next month's expense using my income's 20%, right? None of the budget apps will help you do that, as far as I know. But Fina supports you do that. You can basically define that as your threshold, and it will dynamically, lively update the value to gauge the real expenses you're going to have, or income. Most of the time we're talking about expense, so but don't limit it with that. So this is a formula. Seamless collaborations. I feel Fina's collaboration is basically simpler, even though I know other apps probably already have this one. So I don't want to put too much time there, but basically you have lots of ways to collaborate with people. I think it's 3 different layers or 3 different levels of collaboration. First collaboration is a sharing. It's you share your page, you set up, you categories with other people. That's collaboration. You collaborate with people by sharing, by giving, right? The second level of collaboration is basically share your workspace with people. Like I share my workspace with my partner, with my wife, and they can view, or I even can give added permission to them so they can change things I have. Or they can basically, you can, sharing with you advisors to let you advisors or coach to, look into your finance and added, pages, documents to, in the product to give you some suggestions, follow-up items, those type of things for better communication. And the last level of dimension of the collaboration is about be a leader of community, which is I always tell people, hey, we have a white label program. We have this program is not really just like saying, hey, we want to think this is business model is better, so help us to make more money. But it indeed is because of I think Fina needs a lot of leader because the flexible is can be customized in any shape. It can fit into any specific community, no matter what the communities care about. Some community cares about, culture related, like donations. Some community cares about budgeting. Some community cares about investment, credit card usage. All the communities can have different behaviors and needs different, focus, and the leaders need to set it up. So if you want to become a white label owner, you own the app, you own all the assets about brand, logo, name, and the setup, right? How you want your community to follow you to set up things in the money management, in the finance tracking. That's for this level, the highest level, collaboration. This is going to be like you set up things for all your clients, basically, right? Or you set up the the whole app, how they look like for your community, so they can join you, following the similar methods to manage money. Then number 6 is designed for complex finance context. Here, it's basically just like further expanding the concept about flexibility on all the different sides. For example, here we mentioned some items like multi-currency. You can easily to manage multiple different currencies asset. Some cards is in you know Canadian yuan, some cards is in USD, and how can you merge them together and still be the unified number in reporting. Financial assets like crypto tracking, other assets for live value, you can all do that. Real estate, enter your home address, you can see the real-time value for that. Investment tracking like stock market, ETF, all these type of things, like connect your Fidelity account, for example. It's all things here. Multi-use cases like business plus personal finance, multiple file we mentioned above. I think here is more like like put all the flexible items together to give you a picture about why Fina is so different, dynamic budget. We actually mentioned all of these things, right? And above, like integrated with spreadsheets as a data source. You can easily to edit your Google spreadsheets, and Fina automatically sync with everything. So you don't need to like upload thing, CSV file or other files again and again. This is all good parts about that a community and the resource ecosystem. I think this is highly general about the culture, about how we all Fina companies is embrace the value we embrace. We embrace community. We trying to listen and hear all the feedback, everything from the community. So if you have anything, don't hesitate. We love to hear your feedback, your thoughts. If there's anything, instantly we can change. We think it makes sense, we're gonna change it. We're gonna add it. And if you think we hesitated about it, we need to doubt about it, we will just like put it on hold and thinking about it again, or combine with other things together, and to have more holistic thinking on every items when we put it, take it actions on that. Why this matters to you? I mean, it's deeply understanding like what you really needs. I think it's a reason, because once you choose some tool, you don't want to switch like too often, because you want to keep the history. One reason, the other reason is basically you want to learn a system and invest your time on it, right? So this is all like kind of like risks and cost for you. Yeah, so if you want the simple budgeting and expense tracking, and you don't want to build anything, like very simple stuff, I mean, Monarch is very strong here. But if you want to customize something, you have very different, not very different, if it's even slightly different, and other budget app doesn't fulfill your needs, I mean, you should consider Fina. If you want a multiple context, like you have tracking multiple sides of your finance, Fina probably is the only choice. Building real financial logic beyond the static dashboard, Fina's formula and document system, all these type of things give you 100% customization, customizable solutions so you can follow. Quick recap. I think I just need to go through this. I mean, we already talked about all the details. Fina Money fundamentally reimagine how financial management works, giving you a system you design, not one you adapt to. I think this is something I want to, read it out loud, and so it really represents what we are trying to write this, post as a summary for you. I hope you can have further understanding, and this helps you to make your choice, make your decision in choosing what apps work better for you. Thank you so much for looking at this with me. Bye for now.